Hello there.
So what I thought was my best Star Trek reaction to date on the channel in the Corbomite maneuver from an analytical perspective of breaking down the show from its storytelling to its technical aspects. I thought it was my best reaction to date. It got blocked. It got blocked overnight. It was a manual review when it already does a review for checking for copyright. When I upload it and it got cleared completely, I was able to monetize it, but then overnight it got blocked. So that's why if you saw it disappear from the channel, it got blocked, and hopefully by the time you're seeing this reaction, that one is now up and back up and running. Unfortunately, it's not being able to be monetized anymore, but like, what the heck, so hopefully this one, I'm gonna make sure it's up on the channel for a few days on private, so if they do decide to do another manual review, I can go back and edit the video. But what's going on, guys? My name is Elie Moses, a 23-year-old law and film student here from Sydney, Australia, shooting his shot, baby. And yes, we are watching Star Trek, the original series, for the first time. Today, we are up to episode 11, titled The Menagerie Part 1. So we got a two-part episode story here. So yeah, I'm hella excited for this one. And usually two-parters are very good. When I did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all the two-parters were really, really well done. So yeah, let's get into the reaction. Let's waste one more time. Let's have some fun with this thing. Let's smash it. Let's go. It's funny how I feel that my best Star Trek reaction to date was actually the first episode ever recorded for television, despite it being episode 10 aired. Oh, crap. Nice. Some human occupation. Is that Helen? Looks like Helen. I don't know. She's wearing red. She might die.
Curious why you suddenly changed course and came here.
For you, baby.
We received a subspace message asking us to divert here immediately.
The space sent no message, Captain.
Message from the former commander of the Enterprise fleet, Captain Pike, urgently requesting that
Oh,
we divert
Pike.
here.
Impossible.
If my first
Pike.
officer states that he received a transmission. from
Jim,
some-
I'm not doubting anyone's word.
Hosea.
I'm simply telling you it's impossible.
Why?
You don't know.
Pike
You
died,
actually
yeah?
don't know what's happened to Captain Pike? I'm sorry to have to be the one to show you. He's upstairs in the medical section.
So, with that episode with the cage with Captain Pike, that was canonical or no? Was that because they changed captains on the Starship Enterprise? So, no, I'm guessing it was canonical, but Kirk took over because it was the similar crew. Oh, no, they had different actors and actresses, but they had, from memory in the cage, they did have Spock and they did have McCoy. Why does that look like Amber Heard?
Handsome man, vital active.
I took over the Enterprise from Spock, served with him for several
Yep, there we go, there we
9
go.
years, 4 months, 5 days.
Question
What's his
answered.
problem, Commodore?
Inspection tour of a cadet vessel. Old Class J starship. One of the baffle plates ruptured. Captain Pike?
Oh, my guy turned to Spike from Buffy. Damn, he got the blonde hair now. Ah, look how they massacred my boy. Damn. Great makeup work. Let's go.
I thought you might make an exception for them.
Oh.
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Chris, if there's anything I can do for you.
They
Captain
turned my
Pike.
boy into R2-D2.
May I remain for a moment?
Yeah. I actually really love the start of this episode. Really, really do love it. Now, quick question. The Cage was never aired, right? So at the time when this was aired, I'm guessing Pike was never introduced to the Star Trek fan base yet. And this was like the first time he was introduced. Like it was just told in writing that he was an old commander of the Enterprise that Spock had served under for 11 months. So yeah, but me watching The Cage first, I actually think it's better. Like that I've known like who Pike is and it's a neat tie-in rather than just seeing it for the first time and them establishing it in writing that he was an old commander. I actually like this episode so far, like really like it. I'm like 4 minutes in.
You know why I've come, Captain. But this time, I must. I know. I know it is treachery and it's mutiny. But I must do this
What sort of allegiance does Spock have with Pike here?
I have no choice.
Did he make some unbreakable vow? I really adored the establishing shot of, I think it's Starbase 11. It's clearly another planet that humans have occupied, and I love that sort of beautiful wide establishing shot of the city, and you had the sort of Saturn-like planet in the backdrop, and you had the sort of like the hue of the sky, or like the sky itself had this sort of purple shade to it, and it's maintained in the scene where Captain Pike is in the medical bay. You see in the background, obviously it's probably a wallpaper, but you still see the backdrop of the Saturn-like planet, and the sky is purple. And it really reminds me as well of the Firefly TV series. If you guys have watched that, there was a shot in episode 2, I believe, where Nathan Fillion falls down on the dirt in the desert, and it's a sort of close-up shot of his face, but in the background you can see a sort of another planet in the backdrop, and it's beautiful, and it just immerses the audience into this otherworldly experience of space exploration and travel, and I just love that. There we go, yet again, this time at night. Beautiful, beautiful. Interesting that they're trying to make Spock's actions here so mysterious and sort of like disobeying, not disobeying, but sort of going behind Kirk's back. And they've established in the TV series how loyal he is to Kirk, but this is an interesting direction here. Because he's the one that's obviously been manipulating the logs.
I recognized the captain immediately. A mutual friend described you, sir, Lieutenant Helen Johansson.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I confused her for Helen.
She merely mentioned she knew you, sir.
Bro, why does every woman have the hots for Kirk?
Miss Piper.
Oh, yes, sir.
Enterprise to Starbase. Orders received. We need operating confirmation from the ship's captain.
The same pinch maneuver on the neck. Put him to
Come
sleep.
in, Starbase. Come in, Captain Kirk.
Could this have anything to do with Spock?
I don't read your door, Jim.
I mean, it's either a message was received.
I wonder how they lit the rooms like that to have like the different shade of purple change along the wall. I'm not sure if it's paint, but it looks like it's lighting, where it's like a darker shade of purple at the top, and then it becomes significantly lighter as it goes down. I know they probably set up like sort of like LED light panels at top. No, but I don't know if LED was invented then. But they sort of have like lighting tubes probably, from what probably at the top, and then they control the lighting of it. Not too sure how it works. Maybe you guys can explain, but like I'm just very intrigued by it, because the way they are able to sort of change the shade of highlights of colors in the background is actually very amusing to me. I want to learn it, obviously.
It's one of two things. Either someone sent a message diverting us here, or someone on board the ship lied about receiving it.
Could that someone be Mr. Spock?
Jim, forgetting how well we both know Spock, the simple fact that he's a Vulcan means he's incapable of telling a lie.
He's also half human.
And that half is completely submerged. To be caught acting like us or even thinking like us would completely embarrass him.
Someone's interfering with my command and my ship. I don't know who it is, but I mean to find out. Even you. If I thought you had the technical know-how, I'd suspect you, but you don't. Spock does.
He would not make a false entry.
There's a false entry in the log right now which doesn't jibe with the established facts. How do you explain that?
I can't, but to question Spock of all people. Me, yes. I could run off half-cocked given a good reason. So could you. But not Spock. It's impossible.
Dr. McCoy, report to
Hey,
transport.
Star Trek defies the impossible.
Dr. McCoy, to transporter control.
McCoy here.
You needed aboard the Enterprise, Doctor. Medical emergency. That's all we have on it, Doctor. Just needed aboard.
Everyone is a suspect.
But it does name the only Earth ship that ever visited the planet.
The Enterprise.
The Enterprise.
Linda's here. What is it?
Starship Enterprise, Commodore. It's warping out of orbit. Refuses to acknowledge our signal.
There's an imposter aboard.
First officer out. going on around here?
Maybe there's
Who
like a
said Jim
cover-up
needed a
mission
medical rest
underway.
leave? And this call about me being needed aboard the ship. I've checked everywhere.
And no one from the ship made such a call.
That's right.
Doctor, I regret they elected to keep certain things from you.
It must be some pact that Spock made with Pike earlier on. Maybe we're possibly going to get flashbacks of that Talos 4 event.
What is this, Spock?
I think that was the Cage episode.
I'm sorry to have to make it an order. You are not to disturb Captain Pike with any questions. Simply take good care of him. Follow Spock's instructions to the letter.
Oh.
Kirk out.
Okay. Is that message fabricated though? I don't know. I'm trying to remember Talos 4 in the Cage. Was that the one with the Megamind heads? The illusionists, I think?
Library computer.
Lock onto sensors. Measure object now following the Enterprise. Doctor, as senior officer present, I present myself to you for arrest.
What?
The charge is mutiny, Doctor. I never received orders to take command.
Okay. I wonder if this is a play from Spock here. I don't know if the audience is meant to be as perplexed as everyone is here on the ship.
Doctor.
But Spock
Mr.
clearly knows
Spock
what he's doing,
is,
I think.
Under arrest.
Well, confine him.
Yes, sir.
I think maybe this is all a plan to get to Talos 4 because it's forbidden, right? So this was the only way Spock could probably get there. Oh no, they just killed Kirk and recreated a new one. It's not the original.
Transferring command to you, sir. Accepting command. Now, where's Mr. Spock? In his quarters, sir. Under arrest.
His quarters.
Disengage computer control, over.
We can't disengage, Captain. The helm does not respond.
So it's programmed to go to Talos 4, I reckon.
Computer control cannot be disengaged until vessel reaches planet Talos 4.
There we go. There's the Jaws theme again.
And in all the years of my service, this is the most painful moment I've ever faced.
See, when you hear things like Kirk saying that, I'm guessing at the time, this is a guess right here, a lot of the audience would have been probably thinking, who the heck is this Captain Pike guy that Spock is sort of siding with and betraying Kirk? This is not Spock. What is Spock doing? And there's this element of mystery that's going on in this episode. And at the time, I don't think Talos 4 would have been showed with those illusionists. So I don't think I don't think it was intended for me to know what Talos 4 looks like, what's happened on Talos 4. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have flashbacks in the second part or in this part to show the audience what Spock experienced on Talos 4. But I've already seen what's happened, if that makes sense. So I think that probably might ruin the experience, or it's like, wasn't the intended experience having seen the Cage previously, like myself.
This hearing is convened. Captain Pike is a complete invalid.
I believe you'll find he's still on the active duty list.
We didn't have the heart to retire him, Jim. He's got you. Whatever he's up to, he's planned it well.
We in court now, baby.
Mr. Spock, are you aware in pleading guilty that a further charge involving the death penalty must be held against you should this vessel enter the Talos Star Group?
This is 13 years ago. The Enterprise. And its commander, Captain Christopher Pike.
Well, that's awesome.
Mr. Spock, no vessel makes record tapes in that detail, that perfect. What were we watching?
I was about to think. I was
I
like,
cannot tell you at this time, sir.
they've got the right camera angles
Captain
and everything.
Pike, were any record tapes of this nature made during your voyage? But just because the prisoner is your first officer and your personal friend.
That has nothing to do with it.
Very well. Continue.
Like another.
Straight on, Mr. Scott.
It could be an illusion, another dimension. I don't know.
As I stated, gentlemen, this was 13 years ago.
How did they
We
have
were
that
on
footage?
routine patrol when the ship's sensors detected something ahead. At first, we were not certain what it was.
It's coming the speed of light.
So that's how they used footage of the scrapped episode of The Cage, or the unaired episode of The Cage.
Meteorite beam is not deflected, Captain.
Evasive maneuver, sir.
Steady as we go.
What is this, a cruise ship? These guys are dressed like they're going to the pool. That's right. It was Royce. It wasn't McCoy. My
What's
bad.
that?
Sometimes a man will tell his bartender things he'll never tell his doctor. What's been on your mind?
Why do I feel like
Right,
I've seen
Rigel
Royce
7?
interact with Kirk? I don't know.
Shouldn't it be? Nice little town with 50 miles of parkland around it.
I remember they created that illusion for him.
Remember I told you I had 2 horses?
Mr. Spock, I'm truly amazed at your technical prowess in somehow manufacturing all this. I congratulate you on your imagination. But this is a court of space law, not a theater.
Hey, I'm enjoying it.
Captain, please tell the court this is not imagination, nor some clever photographic record. Are we seeing the actual events of 13 years ago?
For me, this has gone far enough.
We still haven't heard the full story. I vote to continue.
Then I vote we do not. Deadlock. And
Not
since
a
I'm...
deadlock.
Got a third member
Still one member of the trial board to be heard from.
Very well. Captain Pike, it's up to you. Do we continue under these conditions?
Yes.
The clash of personalities with Mendez. Bro, they screening that thing in 4K as well. Like, that's crazy. Whoever got that footage, shout out to the cameraman. I can't wait to find out, like, why this is being shown, how it is being shown, and what's the purpose of returning to Talos 4, because we're clearly going to be, or like, I'm going to be shown something that wasn't included in the Cage episode, possibly. Maybe an event that didn't happen. Or something that was maybe shown, but is more significant than we thought. Ah, the memories, even though it was like 11 episodes ago.
Vina.
Yeah, she was the victim
Her
of the
parents are
illusion.
dead. She was born almost as we crashed.
So, are Kirk and that seeing that pan out shot to the Megamind heads? Just trying to think, or is that for the audience? That something was watching them. They're watching the whole episode.
But you finished your captain as well.
Commodore must be aware that Captain Kirk knew nothing of this.
And you're aware that a captain is responsible for everything that occurs on his ship. I order you to return this vessel back to manual control.
Sir, I respectfully decline.
Damn.
Very well, you've earned the consequences. This court is in recess.
Don't stop me. Don't let him stop me. It's your career and Captain Pike's life. You must see the rest of the transmission.
This is where that brotherly trust needs to come in. I think Kirk's known Spock long enough to trust him.
Lock him up.
To be concluded next week. That's actually my decision whether that's concluded next week. I could upload this back to back if I want. I could upload both of them on the same day. That would be cool. Imagine that. I like how a little bit of the final credits were played at the end there with that sort of holding shot of that holding sort of like wide shot, sort of like medium long shot right there of Kirk in the deserted room himself, just thinking and processing things, and then he decides to walk out. I like that. I actually like that. That was a really solid episode. Having seen The Cage, it's like part of the things I was rewatching, I was just like, oh, hurry up, I've seen this before, if that makes sense, because I've seen it. But like, if I was watching it through the lens of seeing it in the 60s, and then maybe you find out later, okay, that was the intended actually first pilot episode that was never shown, but you've never seen that footage before, so you would have been more invested. But because I'd seen all the footage before, I was just curious to see what the sort of feedback in the courtroom was to that footage. And it took a while to get there, because obviously we're seeing all the events play out that I've already seen, but people in the 60s wouldn't have. That makes sense. But yeah, really solid episode in my opinion. Overwhelmed with curiosity at the moment to see the reason, especially Spock himself, why he's so curious to go back to Talos 4. And it seems like they are sort of projecting all the footage, maybe somehow through the illusion. The illusionist captured everything within that sort of range. So when they were receiving those messaging, it's sort of like they entered the sort of maybe quadrant or sort of area in that solar system where the illusionists are able to capture and see everything. Maybe that's the explanation to how they were able to show everything within that range. It's like this Enterprise sort of went into the Talos system, and those on Talos 4, the illusionists or whatever, were able to capture that footage. And maybe when they go back there, they're able to see the footage of them going into Talos 4 with Kirk and stuff. So yeah, that's for next episode to see. I'm just predicting. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. As always, been your boy Elie Moses. Take care. God bless. Peace.